Hey everybody, Chris again. Feeling good after a good Wednesday at Indiana Grand. I know we had some unusual post time and a lot of scratches, smaller fields, but after a couple rough days, I felt like I was seeing the ball a lot better today. So today we will be going over Thursday, August 26th card. Once again, we will have that change in post time. So if you want to follow me, you can at on Twitter at handicappingT3. And I will be posting some other tracks on there for Thursday as well. And then online at Betting News this weekend, obviously, I'll be previewing the big Travers card at Saratoga. So that will be up on Friday if you want to follow there. But again, if you want more daily stuff, that at Handicapping T3, you can follow me there on Twitter. So, like I said, just a reminder that we do have those early post times. So 10 a.m. Eastern. It actually makes for kind of a nice day here in the Midwest as we finish up the card a little bit earlier. Some of those 225 post times get a little late for us. So here you can take a look and see how we did on Wednesday. A lot more green, which was nice to see, especially in that A column. Had a couple of winners coming from those A positions, which allowed me to cash more tickets today. So it was nice to have my feel back a little bit. One of the things here you can see again a lot of green, yellow, and red. Green being first, yellow being second place horse, and red being third place horse. One of the key things here, though, that made the day really successful is I've talked about that tic-tac-toe 3 in a row, and when I see that, I use a ladder, a win place show ladder, and so you can see here that I had 6 all over the place. He ended up winning, so got my day off to a good start. I had 3 in a row here as well with the 5, and he ended up winning at a short price. I did have 3 in a row here, but I was able to hit the place and show on the 3. I didn't have one here. I did have one here. The 8 ended up coming in second. I had 3 in a row right here, and the 3 horse won that race. I kind of had one here. If you look, you've got 3, 3, and 3. That horse did end up showing, although typically when they're paired with this many horses in that last category, I tend not to use them. But even if you were using that, you still would have hit the show portion of the wager. And then here, I did have one that just didn't hit the board at all. The last 2 are quarters. I don't really worry about those too much. But again, if you're using those 3 in a rows as opportunities to play win, place, and show, and to ladder them so you have more money in the show pool than in the win pool, that's been pretty successful. You can find these grids you can find attached to the post in Live and Breathe Horse Racing group on Facebook. I'll post in the comments section all of the boards for that day. So if you want to play those T3s, those tic-tac-toe 3 in a rows, whether you want to play them win, play, show, or you just want to key them up in exact, this is kind of up to you. So, but they're available for you there, and I will continue to post those in the Facebook posts. And I'll try and get them up on Twitter tomorrow as well so that you can take full advantage. But today, our matter of business is Thursday's card. And so let's jump into that. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. I'm using a new software here today. So I'm going to go ahead and get us rolling here. So as I'm looking at this, we have our past performances, again, the Brisnet kind. I've added a couple of things. This one here, the green number is the pace number. The higher, the faster the early pace is going to be. So 21 is actually the fastest, or is pretty close to the fastest. I guess a 24 would be the highest score. But this race is looking pretty hot. Normally, anything above a 20 is looking like it's going to have a hot early pace. There really is no cold run style. Those E-run styles have been good on the dirt routes. And then once again, I did put the actual strikes in. So this horse is pace in the money 3 workouts, winless in the last 5, and par. I'm going to throw this horse out from race number 1. Horse number 2, I've got an early presser, winless in the last 5, which I don't love, but I do like that this horse is dropping in class today. So with only that one strike, horse is going to get an A grade, and I'm probably definitely going to use this horse because you've got just the one strike, but the horse is dropping in class. So I don't love 7 by 10. but at the same time should have an easier spot here. We've got the hot E style here. The only difference is the extension out over 2 furlongs. Speed has been carrying here, and it's a speed horse that's stretching out. That's the one kind of horse that I will take a chance on. And so here you can see we've got an A grade on that. So we'll definitely be using there. Another quick horse, the heavy favorite, has not been in the money in the last 3, but again, you're dropping in class, and again, winless in the last 5, but again, you're dropping in class. And honestly, as we look at this here, it's not hopeless in terms of where it was, within 2.5 lengths, obviously turf. 6 furlongs, 4 and 3/4. So you're a little far back, but dropping in class should really take care of that for you. So a B grade on that one. Tiz Abbey, a late runner, jockey trainer, is a strike, 3 workouts or a race in the last 30 days, winless in the last 5, and has not yet hit the par number. I do see a nice little improving trend there, which is interesting. But at the same time, you got a low percentage trainer. I'll take a stand against. You've got a pace compromised horse who is also not hit the par, but does still come into play as a C horse with only 2 strikes, is moving up in class. And typically, if I'm looking for a horse that's moving up in class, I like to look for horses with speed. This is not really a speed horse, but when I look at how Fernando de la Cruz rode this horse the last time out, I can see that the horse was definitely more forwardly placed than the P would suggest, although the 7 would tell me that there might be a chance that this horse is going to try and get up on the lead. So as I'm looking at him, the numbers are a little light, but everything else says maybe a player here. So I'm going to end up going with the 4, tuck your tail and run. And seems logical enough. Has been running against really good company, has good numbers. And at 4 to 5 is probably the right play. I don't love the price. If it goes much shorter than that, we'll probably look in a different direction. I think Timeless Glory is a really interesting one. Part of why I landed on the 4 up top is I just think the speed's going to be too dangerous. I've got a horse that can sit off and pounce. I've got a horse that maybe will sit off and pounce. That's that number 6 Mambasita, and then Royals Girl, who's going to be another speed presence. I don't like that the last race they dropped in speed figure. I typically like to see that number moving forward, but nevertheless, that speed presence could be something to be reckoned with. So between those 4, I think I've got the winner somewhere. I'll move on. Race number 2, another dirt route. This one's going to have a little slower pace to the front. Again, we're looking at E and no cold. So we've got Nod to Persia with no strikes for Orlando Mojica. We've got Tiz Light the Way, early running type. I really like this horse, no strikes, A grade on this one. You'll notice this horse has a 0, but is still left off. That's because they don't show up in any of the boxes on the T3 grid. This one is improving in form. Hit a number at Belterra last out that would put it well above a number of the runners in this race. You've got Risky Town. The only strike against is this 3 workouts or a race in the last 30 days, but you can see that's splitting hairs because it was 32 days ago that this horse last raced. So I'm definitely going to keep this one on side because that's really pretty close to a 0 strike performance. This horse has a favorable run style, doesn't quite have the pace numbers to get there. In the last relevant race, it lost 2 positions in the final running, and then has not yet hit the par. Numbers are just a little bit light. That's a lot going against this horse, so I'm going to keep this horse down a little bit further. He's a bully. You have what I believe was supposed to be a jockey trainer mark here, or is this maybe no? Sorry, in the money in the last. Not exactly sure what marking that was supposed to be there. I'm trying to look kind of through here. Must have been jockey trainer, so the connections. 9% for Jose Riquelme. So under 10% jockey. I don't play those, so the J just got cut off there. 2 furlong, so we're stretching out more than 2 furlongs. We've got pace issues, 3 workouts, not going to use. Good run style, 3 workouts, winless in the last 5. beaten by a weaker in the last race. That's a little concerning, but we did see a step up. Definitely took a big step forward. And the one thing that's interesting to me about this Kitschy is Robert Klein claims the horse back. And when I see a high percentage barn take a horse back and then improve it, I mean, we can see this horse was running 84, 87, 83, goes away and completely falls apart. And then comes back into the barn where it was successful, and all of a sudden it's back on track. So I like to see that one. The 6 is an interesting horse to me, even though he didn't grade out all that well. So I'm going to go with 2 on top. I'll put 3 in second and 6 in third. Now we're going turf sprint, and actually what's kind of interesting about this one is it's only got an 18 for its pace score. Now typically we would think of a turf sprint as having a really hot pace. We've got early runners as being successful. We have the worst bias against being on heavy closers, which is not surprising for a turf sprint. And then V is the same as EP. I just use the V to make it a little bit quicker to get to. So you can see there we've got some cold running styles that we want to be aware of. Those will be indicated in the strikes, so you won't see them marked. So I've got Alpine Ghost at 2-1. The trainer has been a little cold. That's why he gets the JT. And then pace could be an issue for this horse. But nevertheless, he still grades out to an A with all the other things that he's got going for him. This horse here, Positive Run Style, jockey trainer is not good. We've got a less than 10% jockey, and the trainer actually is only 9% as well. Got a change of over 2 furlongs. This one will be going 5, coming out of a mile-long race. Has not been in the money in his first 3 starts, which is concerning. I mean, this horse hasn't even been within 12 and does not have a race or a workout in the last race or 3 workouts in the last 30 days. Just too much going against this horse. This horse is unraced and already has 2 strikes, bad jockey trainer, and does not have 3 workouts in the last 30 days. So comes out to a C grade, but not one that I'm all that eager to use, especially with the 0 for 11 first-time starter. Here you've got 780. You've got that EP, so that early run style is going to be right on the lead. You can see, even though it's an EP, there are often times where this horse is right on the lead or within a length of the lead, even here 3 by a half. So isn't afraid to get up there. He's winless in 5, which is not ideal, and has been the favorite in 3 out of the last 4, which is really not great. He is a favorite with a weak breed. With a weak breeding number relative to the group. So 2 strikes, you'll get a B grade, but I'm not rushing in line to bet this one. Jockey trainer, 2 furlong cutback, 3 workouts, 3 strikes, not going to use. Early speed is good, not in the money in the last 3 starts. Has failed as the favorite in the last 3. Isn't really getting is getting the class drop. So hopefully we can eliminate that 3 3/4. Only 1 strike. I'm definitely going to be using Binge as a part of my selections. This was a really interesting horse. Elvis Just Elvis is listed as an E3, but really, when I look at an E horse, I expect an early speed horse to be able to sustain their early speed. If you have an early speed horse that isn't fast enough to maintain that speed, then I don't really think they're an early speed horse. You've got a horse here that every time he's gotten out early, he's always faded late, and in fact, the last time he just didn't really go anywhere. So I just think this horse is an S, not because I think he's a closer. I just think he's slow. Hasn't had 3 workouts. Doesn't have breeding ratings. Is 6-1. That's too short for me. Not going to use. Number 8, It's All About Archie. It's coming off of a big layoff, only 8% off of this type of layoff for the trainer. So there's only 1 strike against. Normally, I'm all about those second-time starters. I just don't like when there's a first start and then they take them away for a while and try and bring them back. I'll see how this one runs on Thursday and then maybe come back to them. So I'm going to end up here going pretty heavily through the 1-4. They're pretty chalky, but if you think they're going to win, I think you got to play them. Further down on the ticket, I like Binge, and honestly, I can see situations where I would really elevate Binge over the 1-4, maybe keying him on top of the 1-4 in terms of vertical exotics, try and get some prices there. I like the 5, 7, 8 as kind of some other interesting horses to spice up the horizontal or the vertical exotics, but I'm not going to be using them in the win column at all. Race number 4, Maiden Claimers, 5.5 on the dirt. This race came out to be a 10, but part of the reason for that is that a lot of the horses are uncontested at this time because they don't have enough data to produce an accurate pace rating. So typically those stalkers have been doing well in dirt sprints. The closers have not been doing so well, so we'll keep an eye on that. Sharp Justice is the favorite and has 0 strikes against, so I'm definitely going to use that horse. Summer Picnic, closer. The run style has not been successful. 1 strike. Um, I love Michael Lauer and I love Marceline Pedroza. I think that's a great combination. I just can't use this horse here. This horse I elevated to a V, to that kind of stalking trip, which is good here, with 0 strikes. That's a B grade, and I'm really liking this horse. Joe Ramos has beaten me a bunch of times in the last couple days, Monday and Tuesday. Seemed like every time I was against him, he was winning, and so I'm just going to keep him on my team for tomorrow and eliminate that problem. So she's no toy, first time starter. We've got the workout issue, breeding issue. Just doesn't have the breeding that's requisite of being here. 2 strikes, not good enough. In this case, kind of unproven at this point. So I'll give him a shot. 0% trainer 2 in first time starters, which I don't like to see. Jockey trainer issues, pace issues, and 0 for 10 maiden or more. Just another day. I'll take a stand against this one. If it beats me, it beats me. Little Miss Sassy Pants, 2 furlong change. So we're taking a big cut back here. We're also switching surfaces. Hasn't been in the money in its last 3. We're 0 for 6, and we haven't figured out anything that even makes us remotely close. You can see that it rates out as a 2B. Honestly, when I go to make my tickets, this one's probably going to get downgraded to an off the ticket. Excuse me. Senorita Emma here, number 7. We've got a lot of the same issues that we've already seen, which is that we've got a jockey trainer issue. We've got a horse that hasn't won in 10 starts or more, and we've got breeding, 3 strikes, not going to use. Then you have the Stone Event jockey trainer. You've got a 4% trainer, dropping huge in class, not in the money in its last 3. The class drop isn't so concerning. Just seems like a talent issue. I'm not going to use the horse. If somebody beats me where they haven't been closer than 17 lengths, I guess I can stomach that. I've got 136. As I mentioned, even though Summer Picnic, I think it was Summer Picnic that came out with only 2 strikes against. Oh no, it was Lil Miss Sassy Pants. You can see I've got that one 4 slashes down the ticket. Just not going to really be a factor in my tickets. Going a mile and a turf for state bred fillies, allowance non-2 lifetime. You're looking for S types to really close up. You are going to have a relatively slow pace, and I think this is actually really interesting. There was a horse that got away with some pretty pedestrian fractions. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday, either Wednesday or Tuesday, and was able to run off with it. So just something to be aware of there. Is that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to if early speed is holding. It's not just that you want to be coming off the pace. You do have to get an honest pace up front. And when they're putting up things like 25s and 26s in the opening 2 quarters, it's going to be hard to come from the back, even if that's the way the track's playing. Stalkers and pressers from the mid pack are just not performing as well in these events. Save the best for last, 20 to 1. Run style problems, winless in the last 5, and has not hit the par. 3 strikes, not going to use. Swift Temple, winless in the last 5, dropping in class. So again, I don't really hold that against. And then you have has not reached the par, but you're going to find that to be a pretty common theme within this group. So in that case, when I get to actually playing it, I'll note that and I'll start kind of backtracking off of that a little bit. Candy Empire, 5 pounds since the last race, so 112 up to 119. When I look at like 122 is back 22 lengths. That's not particularly promising. 119, 22 lengths, 22 lengths. So it seems like this horse might have benefited a little bit from the weight relief and now is getting more on. Not in the money, winless in the last 5, has not reached par. Moving on. Just humming. The only issue is the run style, and I think it's like I said. I've seen it kind of go both ways in these turf routes. If people get complacent and overplay the run style, this horse could be live. So I'm going to use this as an A. Teener. You've got 2 positions lost, so you can see one from 6th to 8th in the last race that was relevant. Run style does not fit the conditions. Although again, I can forgive that if everything else aligns, and then we don't have the workout pattern I like to see. B grade on that one. Getting Tipsy, jockey trainer, run style, and winless in the last 5. Ran against Similar in the last race and was close, so that's promising. I'll still use as a B grade. Touch of Blessing, jockey trainer, issue in the money, run style, winless in the last 5, hasn't hit par. Moving on. Pika Chica, in the money in the last 3, run style issues, winless in the last 5, has not reached par. I'm going to move on from that one as well. And that's going to bring me down here. I'm going to end up going heavily through Just Hummin at 3-1. I really like that horse. I think he's got a lot, or I should say she. I think this is the fillies, right? Yeah, this is fillies. So she's got a lot going for her. I think she could pull a mild upset. I don't think it's going to be anything massive. I will definitely use Getting Tipsy, the number 6. The number 5 is Teener at 20-1. I'm going to use that horse pretty aggressively in some spots to try and get some value, because otherwise I'm coming into Swift Temple, who's 2-1, and I'm just not getting value. Number 6, Philly State Bred Allowance, non-winners of 2 lifetime. Again, that early speed is deadly, and particularly here, I've got a race where I'm not seeing a lot of pace. So in the interest of timeliness, we've seen a lot of these strikes before, so I'm just going to kind of go through this. 4 strikes, you're out. The only issue with this one is it hasn't reached par. 1 strike, may use an A. Good run style. 4 strikes, hasn't reached par. That's a problem. Again, you're noticing that a lot of these horses have not reached par. So I'm more likely to forgive that when I see it becoming a thing for every single horse. 2 strikes I'm not going to use. 2 strikes on Miss Fort. Again, one of them being that par issue. I'm going to maybe circle back to that one at some point. 6, 3 strikes, a B grade, winless in the last 5, which isn't great, but did finish 3rd in last race. The only thing is I don't like that it's 7.25 on turf, which might as well be 22 on dirt. So that's a little concerning, especially with no drop in class. Horses won for 16, probably an underneath type, but not want to be prevalent on top. I really like this horse. The only thing this horse hasn't done is reach par, but it's only had a chance to run 1 time. So you project a second time improvement, and maybe that can go forward. And that leads me to 2 as my top choice, which is Lieutenant Kitty. Number 7, which is Sleepy Dream. And then number 6, Strong Illusion. In kind of doing a second take back over this, I think I'm going to get enough on Sleepy Dream, having only the 1 start under the belt. Against a group of horses that I'm not super impressed with. So I might take 7 and just move that one up into the A slot, and just go 2-7 over 6 and try and take it there, and then maybe throw some others in underneath. But we'll kind of see from there. 5 furlongs on turf, again, 18, not super fast. Quick, but not super fast. Early speed types are good. Closers and stalkers are not. I've got a second time starter. That's one of my favorite angles to use, so I'm going to go ahead and use this horse, only 1 strike A. I love this horse right here. 10-1 on a trainer that's 18% with first time starters. I'm going to use this horse underneath because I love that. The 3 isn't good for breeding. And I think that's a really important part of first time starter, especially when they debut on turf. So I'm going to probably leave the 3 out. The 4 will get a B grade because it has no strikes. You've got a breeding issue, and the 3 starts with the workout. C grade, 8-1. It's more forgivable. I wouldn't use this horse if it was a favorite. 0 strikes, but 0 going for it as well. 0 for 31 first time starters. That's good enough for me to say no thanks. You've got 3 since the last workout. But again, I'm not seeing enough here to really elevate. So 1 strike, but he's going to be out. No strikes, second time starter, good speed type. We've got an A grade on that one. We've got an E, no strikes, A, second time starter. So I'm really liking the 2 outside runners here. Jockey trainer, 1 strike. I'm not going to use this one. If he beats me, he beats me. I really like the 9 here in particular. Looking at 0 strikes with 1 start under the belt. I also use the 1-2, so again, second time starter with only that workout pattern. And then this 2, who I think could be really sneaky, just with that trainer stat on first time starters. I'll definitely want to make sure that horse is taking some money. The 8 will be sort of my backup horse, and then the 4-5 are just kind of horses to fill out and try and bring some prices into those exotics. Moving on to race number 819, so a little bit more swift here in these longer races, which have been speed favoring. So as we're going through this is a tough situation to deal with. I've got Too Fat to Fish. This horse is winless in the last 5, which is not great, but does drop in class, so I'm going to give him an A grade. Good run style, but you've got a lot of issues here, particularly winless in the last 5. And then you've got the still hasn't hit par and is pace compromised, so a lot of issues. This one's winless in the last 5, but does drop in class, so we've got a B grade on the computer-generated picks. Good run style, but has not hit par. And with horses that have hit par, enough of them at least, that's going to be a big issue for me. So, Long Live Justice, good run style, pace doesn't fit, hasn't hit the par, moves up in class after a victory. Yes, a convincing victory, but got to move up in class. And I just find it's better to take a stand against those more often than not. The 6-horse Jockey Trainer in the money the last 3 has not hit the par. Technically a C grade. I probably won't use very prominently. Pace in the money, 4 strikes. We're just going to move on from that guy. And that gets us down here to using the one most heavily in our final event, Too Fat to Fish, the favorite. But then I've got some other prices. I've got Comes in Threes and Sunday Drive in those next 2 spots. I could get some good juice there, hopefully. I've got Johnstown Johnny and Long Live Justice as sort of deeper down the ticket, and then Custer's Last Stand will be sort of my last stand of the day. See if I can throw that one in underneath on a try and see if I can get there. So I hope you have found the videos this week helpful. I'll continue to do them for Indiana Grand, and I'll maybe start to expand on some other tracks as well. Maybe even just do some spot plays here and there. But I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're using them as part of your handicapping, and that's leading you to cashing a lot of tickets and making Indiana Grand one of your favorite tracks as well. So best of luck to you on the Thursday card. We will be off for Indiana Grand until next Monday. Good luck.